Hey folks, today we're going to start our diamond in a square section of the pattern book, and so we're going to start with a little tutorial on how to make the diamond in a square. Diamond in a square is also known as square in a square and has been around since the mid to late 1800s. That's when it first started appearing in quilts. In its simplest form, it's just a simple square with another square that's cut in either half diagonally or quarters diagonally, and then those pieces added to the sides of the squares. But you can add as many of those secondary squares to that and go up as many as you want to. And so we're going to explore some different blocks with this method, and I'm going to do a little tutorial for you on how to do this in different variations. For the book, we'll stick to the method that's in the book, but I want you to know that there are several different ways to make a diamond in the square, and we're going to explore many of them, probably not all of them, excuse me, because I'm probably not aware of all of them. So we'll grab our fabric. I've got various different sizes here, and we will get started on that. And then I'm also going to show you how to do a paper piecing variety of this and provide you with several different size templates. So I'm going to bring you down to the table and we'll get started on our tutorial. See you in a bit. We're going to start with the method shown in the book, where you take one larger square and 4 smaller squares, and they tell you to take a heat erase pen and a ruler, and on the back of each square to draw a diagonal line corner to corner. That's what a diagonal line is. So let's start with that. If you start at the middle and go out, then you don't have wrinkles in your fabric. I went through 2 different tutorials telling you how to do a floating diamond in a square and a 2-colored diamond in a square, and my camera cut out halfway between this one, so you didn't get any of this one. So I'm going to do a recap. You do opposite corners, you draw your lines horizontally on all 4 of your fabrics. You sew on the first 2 opposite corners using a scant 1/4 inch. Then you trim and press those, and then you repeat and do the opposite corners. On the 2-colored one, it's used mostly for star. You have a lighter star points. You'll have something in the center, either a square or maybe another square in the square. Like this could be your center. This could be your star points. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next one, and hopefully the camera stays on this time. This is a larger version. These are all just scraps. In this version, I'm going to show you how to cut your corners before you sew them. Now your corner to corner, if you were to mark it, would be right here. But you need to leave a seam allowance, so we're going to move it. And this has a seam line on the ruler, and so we want to place that line on the corner to corner, and then we're going to trim that. Then I'm going to sew it. And we repeat this all the way around. I'll go to the iron and I'm going to iron this and set the seam before I fold it up to press it open. And that's what it looks like now. So we put the opposite corners on. Make sure your seam or your 1/4 inch is on the corner to corner. My seam flipped, so I'm going to just pick one thread, let it go forward, and then turn it and sew go set my seams and press it. Now this could be floating by leaving it up above the 1/4 inch mark, or there we go. Okay, this method, we start out with a square, and then we have 2 squares that we've cut in half on the diagonal. And the other methods, we cut off corners. On this method, we're going to use the straight sides of each the outcome is the same, the method is different. So what we're going to do here is determine what is the center. We're going to pinch and match up the folds. We're going to sew 1/4 inch on each side. Now I'm going to press these open. Now you can either cut these off now or wait and cut them off later. I found that it makes it easier to match your other squares up. Okay, at this point I'm going to go ahead and trim off these dog ears. And I'll wait to trim these until after I've pressed. And we just trim it to whatever size the pattern specifies, making sure we don't trim off our points. Okay, next up is paper piecing. Next up, we're going to work on a paper pieced diamond in the square. And what you're going to need if you're going to do it the FPP, foundation paper piece, you're going to need the pattern, which I found a couple. This one has several different sizes, from size 2-inch clear up to 6-inch. This is provided by Carol Thylan. I had it in my files. Its copyright is 2024. I went online to try to find it, and I wasn't able to find it, but I will continue looking for it. And if I find the link for it, I will add that to the description. I also have one from Junk Girls, which is a lopsided diamond in a square. And this is also a free pattern, and you can go to her website, which I'll provide a link to this for you. I just recently got this one, so I know it's still available. This one I'm not sure about. But anyway, you can find FPP patterns all over the place, and so if I can't find a link for you, then you can do your own searches. The other thing you're going to need are paper scissors, a rotary cutter that is specific for paper. You don't want to use your fabric rotary cutter. You'll need a ruler with a good 1/4 inch seam line, or you can use an add a quarter ruler. I have one, but I prefer to use this other one. You don't have to have, but a glue stick is useful. Your seam roller and a pen or pencil. What I do personally myself, you don't have to do this, but this makes it easy for me. I turn over my pattern and I write my numbers on the back so that I have access on both sides on which order I need to go. So when I fold my paper, I know where to fold it at. So that's just a helpful hint. And you can also draw your lines on the back if you want, but I pre-fold everything so that all my lines are folded. Also, pre-folding weakens the paper a little bit, so it helps it when it comes time to tear it. I do it this way first, then I turn it over and do it the opposite way. If you've ever tried to tear a straight line on a piece of paper and you didn't have scissors, you know that if you fold it back and forth, it helps with that process. So that's why I do this. Okay, now the very first step is your center square. I'm using a solid color and it's black, and so it really doesn't matter, but if you were using a print for your center square, you would want your right sides facing down to place it on the deal, because when you're sewing, you're going to be placing just like you do regular sewing. Oops, there went my glue. So the first thing we're going to do is place our number 1 fabric. So I'm going to put a little dab of glue on here, and I'm going to hold it up to the light, which I can see through it. And I'm going to place my number 1 fabric right there. Now I'm going to hold it up to the light, and I'm going to make sure I've got a 1/4 inch all the way around it, which I do, but I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. There we go. And if you don't want to use glue, you can use a pin. Okay, now I'm going to find number 2, which is right here. I'm going to fold that back, and I'm going to decide what I'm putting next, which is going to be this one. And this one I'm going to put right sides together, and I'm going to make sure that I have enough fabric available to cover my number 2 spot, which is right here when it flips over. So when it flips over, it's going to be right there, and there is enough fabric to cover it. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue and put right on the seam line. That just holds it in place for me until I get over to the sewing machine. Now I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to sew right on the line between 1 and 2. Double check, make sure everything's where it needs to be before I start sewing. Oh yeah, you need to have a small stitch length, because that will help when you want to tear it apart, and it'll also help it to stay together. My machine thinks it has to have a leader, or it comes unsewn. So we're going to accommodate it. I mean unthreaded. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this up. I'm going to fold 3 down now, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a cut so that all I have is a 1/4 inch seam to work with. So that's all I want. I'm also going to trim up this number 3 fabric. I'm going to fold it on the line here. I'm going to give that a little bit of a trim. And fold it on the other line that is its seam and give that a trim. The reason I'm doing this now is because I want to use this piece of material. Okay, so I have all of my necessary seams, and I have a little triangle here. I'm going to go ahead and use my seam roller and give that a good pressing. Okay, now I'm need to go to 2, go to 3. I just did 1, I did 2, now here's 3. And fold that back, turn it over. I'm going to take my glue stick, just give it just a tiny little bit of glue right on the edge. Fold this back over and make sure I'm covering everything that needs to be covered. And I am. Okay. So, this back. Okay, I am 1 and 3. Number 3. Once again, and I just put my needle down, make sure I'm in the right spot. Double check, make sure everything's where it should be. My fabric folded. So to fix that, I just take out a couple stitches. And notice I'm doing it on the fabric side and not on the paper side because I don't want to weaken my paper. And I already know where I need to be, so I'm going to sew on the fabric side this time. Okay. I went ahead and moved the fabric a little bit because it didn't quite come to the edge right here, so I went ahead and moved it and fixed it. I'm going to roll this so that my seam is pressed. I'm going to fold. I need to trim right along here. So what I'm going to do, I have a 1/4 inch on the corner on both sides. And there we go. Now we did 2, 3, we need 4, which is right here. Sure I have enough, and I do. I could even move it just a little, but you can tell by the right here that that's going to be enough because that'll be straight. So turn it over, give it a little glue. Oops, put the glue in the wrong spot. Glad I checked. And that's why I looked at the numbers. The number was not right. When I turned it over, I saw 2, and okay, I've already done 2. Okay. So now we're going to sew it. Okay, you see what I did wrong? I sewed my fabric going the wrong direction. It looks right that way. Oh, maybe it's okay. Hold on just a minute. Let's see what we have. confusing myself here. That's why I confused myself. I don't like these straight rotary cutters. I like my ergonomic one. Okay. Okay, so our next one is 5. And right sides together. Checking to make sure we have enough. We do. Now, if you're comfortable enough to do this without gluing, you can, or pinning, which I've done quite a bit of FPP, so I'm comfortable doing it. Checking to make sure I've got everything where it needs to be, and then I start sewing right on the line, and then I backstitch because when you start tearing that paper, you've run a chance of my fabric there, but I don't think it's gonna matter. Nope. Okay. So trim the excess fabric off. And excess over here. Okay, now we're ready for six. Can't tell 6 from 9, but I don't think it's going to matter. 6, 7, 8, and 9. So for this go around, I'm going to be using black again. And that piece isn't big enough, so we'll go with this piece. Okay, just making sure that I have enough to cover right there, and I do. Okay, so this is my excess. Okay, next up is 7. That's 7 there and 8 there. So we will change this to 7. This to 8. That's 9. Okay. Is that gonna be enough? Looks like it. Oops. You're not supposed to move on me. Okay, trim off our excess. Helps if you have your blade open. Flip that down. And I might have a problem. It slipped on me. I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not, but I don't have enough seam allowance here, so I'm going to have to undo this and readjust it because it slipped on me. All I have to do is move it over a little bit. I'm going to pause you while I pick and bring you back when I'm ready to sew. Okay, this time, since this is a small piece and it slipped on me last time, I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on. Just right on the edge. I'm going to place my fabric where I need it. I'm still not happy with it. Okay, let me trim some of these strings real quick. Keep my hair out of it. Well, I think you have them all and you find some more. Okay, one more. There we go. Next up, we're going to do that color and we will be finished. So I'm going to I don't know if I cut this in half, if that'll be enough or not. If not, I've got more. It's cutting it close, but we're going to give it a try. At least once. Okay, 11, 10. That should work. Looky there, looky there. Okay. Trim, press, and tear paper, and okay, I'm going to put you on time lapse so you can watch me peel the paper, see how much fun that is. But paper piecing will give you your perfect points every time. So here we go to time lapse. Fun, fun. There we have it, our paper pieced diamond in a square block. This one finishes at 5.5 inches, and I'm going to have to figure out a quilt to put this one in.